everyone, welcome to the next video, and here we go. Hello, so welcome after vacations, and today I would just like to, in our sketching, the traditional way on the paper, of course, I would like to just recapitulate a little bit how we search for proportions, of course, using the measurements, because I think that there's a recurring problem. Some, students really do not kind of capture how you should do this in order to draw, in close to realistic proportions. Yes. So basically, for any measurements, the best would be to, by yourself, this kind of wooden stick is the best thing to do. Of course, you can also use your pencil, yes, your pencil, but sometimes if you have dark pencil or whatever, you have yellow is easier, but if you have kind of, darker, it's not sometimes very well visible the measurements you take. So the best would be always to use, of course, normally wooden stick, and for these purposes. So normally you will keep it in left hand and you will take all the measurements, and of course, and with the right hand you will draw. So you take measurements and compare them. You will right away know how to go, where to go, and so on and so on. So basically, a few rules. Of course, your arm needs to be really straightforward. Yes. So I'm going to show you in the moment. I'm going to switch cameras and I'm going to show you how the arm should be. And the hand itself, you have to have this thumb, okay, movable. So you just move the thumb, and here you actually take the measurements. Yes. So if I would like to show you, if you look at the bottle from far away, yes, so you will go that way, you see, with the thumb. Oh, that's how large the bottle is horizontally. And if you want to now compare the proportions of this bottle, you will go now vertically with this measurement, and you will try to remember where your eyes is stopping. Yes, here. So you move up, you have 2 times until here, and 3 times to the top of this, top of the bottle. So you know that the ratio of proportion of this particular bottle will be 1, 2, 3, isn't it? Because horizontally it was 1, we took it vertically this, and from there we went once, twice, and 3rd time. So all the bottle, of course, is in this space, isn't it? Yeah, there's the space with an H, and the bottle exists. Of course, after we're going to take, of course, how long is now the neck, and compare this with the rest of the body, 1 and little, almost twice to this part. So if you see, is somewhere there is the end of the bottle. Yes. Okay. So we're going to redo this step by step. I'm just explaining briefly. So now we're going to have this kind of neck of the bottle. Here you're going to have this rest of the bottle, and within the space you have to do this kind of curve. So you will have approximately the form of the bottle less or more done, isn't it? In close proportion to that one. Yes. So another way of working with proportions, if you have this object available to you, so you can just simply take it like that, yes, and see that this is approximately this width, yes, this width, a little bit more, somewhere there. And now this width, you go once, twice, 3, and approximately half, yeah, a little bit more than half. So you know that the ratio of proportions of these bottles are, the bottle is 3 and almost half, yes, versus 1, the width. So in our case, the only thing which would gain here, because it's 1, 2, 3, So you would have a little bit longer this part. And this is going to be much more accurate, you know, proportions of the bottle. Yes. But if you do the measurements really, because I was imagining how long this, my camera is very close, so I cannot, you know, it's hard to really focus on this kind of things, you know, perfectly. But anyways, once, twice, three, yeah, is almost three, and you know, it's like three and half would be here, so you have little things to add after. So it's approximately, you know, the one width versus vertically 3.5, and you add little intuitively, you know, the space. So for example, if I would go one square up, another square up, yes, because we're talking about squares, if you have the width the same as the top, so you have squares, you have 3 squares, yeah, and now half would be this part, and intuitively you add a little bit like that, yes, less or more, yes, so you have this space. So now, of course, you know that the one and approximately is going to be, let's just check it out. This neck length is this, so it's going to be like 1 time and 1/3, you see, 1 time, you see a little bit differently, this is going to be 1/4, you see, because if I divide this in here 1/4 times, so it's going to be this small piece which is here is going to be approximately, you know, 1/4. Yes. So and the length of this neck would be the width of this bottle. Yes. So if you go with the width of the bottle, it's going to be here, and you see the small piece here. If you divide this in 4, the stick, you will have the 1/4 to the base. Yes. So when you have the width, so you go there is approximately here, and the 1/4 is going to be the space somewhere here. You have the base for the neck of the bottle. Yes. Okay. And now you do full circle here, a little bit around there. Now we will have approximately the bottle almost perfect. So we're going to do this in the moment, but the very important thing for the measurement is this is without measuring, you cannot really get the proportions right. Yes, because visually, as I started the bottle, visually, it seemed to me that it's 1/3, but at the end, when we measure much more exactly, it was 3.5 and a little more. So with measurements, you get to the perfection of the size you draw. Yes, even if it's from the distance, far away or closer, you should have the same proportions and nothing going to change. Yeah, but you have to really focus on the measuring correctly. Yes, so you have to really, the best is close one eye. Yes, so you can kind of find this really width correctly, and after from one part and another part, third part, and this, you have to be careful when you try to remember the width. Yes, let's say this is the width approximately according to the camera. Just a second, I just put it somewhere there. You have this width, so now vertical is there. This is important that you remember where is it, because if you miss 1 2 millimeters down or up, right away you're going to have different measurements. So that's why if you don't have things measured exactly, that might be the case why your measurements might be not exact. And you see, as I measured much more exactly, is actually 3 squares and 3/4, because look, this space which is out is going to be approximately, you know, 3 times within this space, 1 2 3, close to it. So the closest would be actually to have 1/3. So a little bit longer, let's say there. Yeah, but anyway, we're going to do this all together. So now we establish actually, so this is not anymore valuable. It's going to be 1/3 and 3/4. Yes, ratio of proportions for the space within which this bottle exists. And all the other details we're going to do in the moment. So you work like this with everything else. Let's say you have a can. like this from the beer or something, you want to draw it, yes, and you want to have it, this proportion is really close to exact, yes, close to exact. So again, the same thing, you just take the measurement first, how large is it? Is approximately this, yes, okay. And now you simply go from the base one time, so it's going to be approximately here. Second time is somewhere here, and what left is approximately 2/3. Why 2/3? Because you see this space here, if you divide it in half, you're going to have approximately this space. So you have the ratio of proportion of this can is 1, which is the width of it, yes, the measurement width, by 2 and 2/3. So it means is 1 square, another square, and what is left is 2/3, because normally if I have another square, it would be under here, but it's a little bit less, is 2/3. So that is kind of close to realistic, proportions of this can. So now, if I know that, for example, the ratio of proportions, that's very important. So you can kind of go and make yourself, for example, let's say you draw this can a little bit, seeing it from the top. If you see it a little bit from the top, so now one thing you're going to know, yes, that you see you have ellipse here, yeah. If you want to know exactly how high this ellipse is, how large is the ellipse vertically, so you take these measurements of this ellipse again, and you go now horizontally, and you go like, I'm sorry, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, like 1/4. Yes, it's 4 times it enters. Yes, so it's 4, 4 times for the how large is the ellipse. So you'd have to divide this entire space 4 times, and the 1/4 you take for the height. Okay, so for example, if I start to draw this can from here, yes, from here, so I divide first the can in approximately 4 parts, yes, sorry, a little bit better, 4 parts. And now you see 1, 2, 3, 4. So now one of the spaces I go vertically, and I have kind of a rectangle there, isn't it? Yeah, you can clean it actually with the, a stamp with the eraser, the cleaner gum, okay, over there, and you can actually get, right away, kind of ellipse which would resemble the ellipse you've seen it, yes. And now, you know that the ratio is 2 and 2/3. So you go now. This, as large as it, you go 1 time. Oops, just a second, try to do it closely as possible. So you have 2 times until here, yeah, 2 times until here. And now what you need, 1, 2, divide this in 3, and you put 2/3. So you put this space, you add it here. So it's going to be somewhere there, isn't it? Yeah, somewhere there. And now another thing you have to look at, because that's the space within the rectangle, the entire rectangle here. It is the space within which this can exists. But now, if you compare the lower part, it's, look, this is approximately so wide, isn't it? And my eyes is seeing this approximately here is the level of my eyes. So this roundness here going to be much more rounded than this ellipse here. So basically going to happen something like this. Then it depends from which angle you're looking at, and this, cylinder, yeah, you don't going to have the same roundness down there, because if the level of your eyes is here, yes, so what you're going to see, if this is what you see, for example, how large is this ellipse? So let's say let's say my eyes are here, you see? Yeah, that's the position of my eyes. So now, 1 square, 2 squares, and 2/3 somewhere there. Look now how I'm going to see from here to there, and from here to there, I see this height. But from there, yes, to there, what kind of height I see? Yes, if I do in the middle, that's approximately how high I see it. So my ellipse here would be much more rounded. It is so that is dependent on the level of your eyes. You're going to have this ellipse much more narrower, but the lower one much more roundier. And that's going to be the realistic form of it. I'm not going with the details, with the foldings and everything, because that's not the subject necessarily of this video. I just want to show you how you can find the proportions, yes, of this kind of forms. Of course, if I would like to go much more in detail, so I will now, after from here, go there, make this kind of little bit enlargement here, yeah, and all this stuff kind of folds here and there, yeah, and you can kind of grow the shape much more as the can looks like, yes. Okay, you will have to kind of really little bit, you know, work out on it a little bit. So the same going to happen in here now, because this means what? That if I look from the eyes, my eyes are here. So from this eye, if I look on these other two parts, I'm going to have in the middle this. So my ellipse here is even larger, yes? So you're going to have this roundness of this can a little bit from there, because I am looking at it a little bit from the top, yes? And here you have, of course, the opening of this, you know, can as it is, you know, all the nuances and everything after here and there. I will go and make this much more kind of looking like a can from which you drink. So let's just kind of recapitulate all this kind of measurement in searching for the proportions. You know, here is the bottle now. Okay, there's the bottle now. Why was the bottle? Because it's much more complex a little bit, because we have the neck, which is divided from the, you know, cup on top of it, and the cup has certain structures there. So this form is much more complex than the can, isn't it? Okay, so the can has only here kind of little enlargement and a little bit kind of, you know, a smaller part for the base, but the bottle is much more complex. So how we would process with the form which is much more complex, like the bottle, for example? Well, listen, it's very, very easy. So first, as you remember, we take this bottle and we take the, how large is it? So if the bottle is far away from you, far away, let's say I'm going to be somewhere here. So I'm going to go, you see, if I am kind of farther away from the bottle, that's my measurement of the width, yes? If I go from the same space approximately, yeah, over there, so I have like, I'm sorry, like this. Okay, it's going to be like 1, 2, just a second. Oops, because I don't have this parallel, this is sticking to me parallel to the object. So it's kind of like 1, after is 2, after is 3. And it would be the same, yes, it would be the same, but it's hard for me from the camera to measure this, but it doesn't matter. Even if you measure the bottle the same way exactly, you know, from the horizontal, make it vertical for the longer parts. If the bottle would be like this, and you would like to draw this the same exactly way, so what you would do, you would always start with the shorter part. This time the vertical part is shorter. So we take the vertical measurement and we go with the length of the bottle once, let's say twice, let's say 3, yeah. And in this case, well, we do not do this exactly. That's why we have almost 4, but it should be, yeah, it's something, yeah, it's going to be a bit less than 4 anyway. So that's how you actually do it. So when the object is rather horizontal, so take first the vertical, the shorter part, and multiply on the horizontal length of the object. When the object is vertical, so you start with the horizontal, yes, and do it after multiply this vertically, and you will see how many, what is the ratio, 1 by 3 and 2/3, as we established, I think, yes, and so or 3/4, sorry, yes, as we established, and I remember, I think, and so it's the same. But how about if the bottle is like that, for example, yes? Well, listen, the length over here is longer, so you always start measuring the shorter part, and the shorter part you multiply to the length of the bottle. Yes, doesn't matter which way the bottle is, which kind of perspective it has, and so on. Yes, so in this case you would measure this part, and you will go, yes, how many, 2.5, yes, because you have shortening, yes. So the length is going to be shorter. And as you do it much more from the top, it's going to be the longer part going to be shorter. But you always start from the, either from the base, yeah. It is in perspective, you see it. So you don't going to see it in such perspective when you look normally in this bottle. This is because the camera is very close. So it gives you kind of, cosmic perspective here. But anyway, so let's do just kind of briefly to conclude on the measurement and the proportions, and at the end I will just show you yet, how the arms you should keep when you do the measurement. So let's go. We know that the ratio was, let me just see, because I have somewhere here. And just, over there. So the ratio was 3/4. Okay, so let's go with the bottle, 3/4. So it's 3 times and 3/4. Okay, so let's go. I would go with kind of, sketch kind of, gentle line, yes, okay, here. And now I go. Let's say I know the ratio of proportions, so I just decide if this space would be enough in height for me to draw this bottle. So I'm just going to go there, and it's like 1 time here, another time is here, another time is here, yeah, and 3/4 would be approximately, this space. Yeah, it's kind of enough. So I have the entire bottle, yes, my pencil is not working. Something is stone in there, and it's not drawing. Probably some kind of hard particle of this graphite. Okay, so anyway, we have this kind of rectangle, see? Yeah. So now we can construct, the bottle details now. Before we go any further, we have to find out the length of the neck. Yes. So we can do this in 2 ways. Either we measure how large is this part, yes, and how it fits here 1 time and approximately 1/4, yes, because this small piece going to enter here 1, 2, 3 times. So it's like 1/4. You have to add it to the width of the bottle. You can do also differently. You can first measure this neck height, yeah, this neck height, and then go over here, yeah, and you want to have the same result because this is going to be approximately 3 times here and the horizontal width of the bottle, yeah. So it's the same, doesn't matter how you approach. So what do we know so far? That if I take this large part, yes, I go there, so it's like 1, so that's my square, the first one on the top, yes, approximately. And if I divide this, the best is doing diagonally, so you're going to have exactly the kind of middle part of it. And if you have 4 squares, so that means that you actually have the square here. So we have 1s, and now if we divide, if we still do the crossing, you're going to have this part, and you do another one, you're going to have another part. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, approximately the same spaces. So one of those you extend it. So now you have the base of this neck, the base. Now, another thing you have to do, because you see, you have to find out, you know, where the neck starts from. Yes, it starts from here, okay? But how large is the neck in comparison with the width of the bottle? So again, we have to have this width of the neck, which is, if I go this, exactly where the camera is, yeah, something like that, I think. It's something around those lines, yeah? There's more, yeah, so, okay. Well, something around those lines. So you see, we have the width. So now let's go, is the bottle, you see, is approximately like 1 time, almost 2 times, yes? A little bit more than 2 times. It's kind of minimally a little bit narrow, because if I do this again, let me just check it out. This is approximately like that. So if I'm going to do 1 time is here, yeah, so I have to remember that. And from there, if I go there, you see, it's a little bit like 1/4 less. So it's not really this width. This width is not really 2 times here, but there's 1 time and 3/4 approximately. Yes, so it's like kind of a little bit less than 1/4 of this width. So in this case, we have the vertical line, which would kind of help us after to put it really in the middle of the neck. So now we know one thing, that the neck, thickness of the neck is 1 time, yes, and 3/4. So what I would do here, we can of course do the divisions again, this way and that way, and you have half, yes, and this half you divide it in 4, yes, and you do the same here, yeah, so we have this, and after you again do the crossing, you're going to have another. So now we need what? We have 4 here, 4 here, yeah. So we know that the neck is the 4 parts, but we have to put it in the middle, yes. So it's going to be approximately somewhere from here, yeah, to the base, and somewhere to here to the base, less or more, yeah, something along those lines, yeah. And now, of course, what we have here, you see, this part is like half sphere, isn't it? Half sphere, yes. So we're going to circumscribe the entire sphere. So in this case, to do this, we have to have square, yes. So I take the width and I put it there, and my next square is approximately here, yeah, okay. So I will just circumscribe there approximately the form of this kind of circle there, yeah, circle there, okay. So now, you know one thing, that here the bottle is going to be a little bit rounded, yes, rounded to get to this kind of circular part, and the same going to be there. You get to the circular part. Of course, this part you can go straight down, yes. And now, as you look at the bottle, you see that there is also roundnesses, yes. If you go look horizontally, if you take it horizontally, you see that it's a little bit getting out of this space. So the little bit getting out of the space you can actually do intuitively, approximately something around those lines, yeah, and you're going to be kind of close. So now, if I would like to do it better, of course, I would have to turn, because I don't have enough space here, you know, to do it kind of correctly, but you will kind of flow there, yeah, okay, with the edges of the bottle, and just elaborate a little bit these parts over there. You go with the neck over there, you go with the neck over here, yeah, and again you do the same here, yeah. So you have kind of, you know, close, forms. Of course, if you would be a little bit much more exact, you would have better results. But now, because I have this broke, just a second, I just have to, sometimes, you know, you have to just sharpen it. And so we got kind of, you see, the basic body, kind of resembling of this bottle, isn't it? Yes, so we have something around those lines. So if I look at this bottle, and in this bottle, yeah, if my line would be nice and straight, it would be quite okay. Now I have the cup here. Look, the cup visible, isn't it? So this is almost 1 square. So almost 1 square. So if I put the square here, I know that a little bit up there is going to be the cup, yes? So if I look a little bit this way, so I might have here a little bit narrow ellipse, yes? And also here I'm going to have a little bit narrow ellipse. There's some kind of nuances in the in the top part of this cork there. And you can do this little bit adjustment of this neck a little bit here and there. So you're going to have kind of, you see, the bottle less or more done, correctly. So the only thing we're going to left you to just kind of do some kind of details here and everything. And of course, apply some kind of, shading here and there, yeah. Okay, a little bit, so you're going to have kind of dimensionality here because it's fair. So you're going to have the straight kind of core shadow rather over here. And it's going to kind of get roundly here and there, yeah. So if I would like to, for example, make it this little bit kind of, better looking, so I would go there and kind of, do this kind of, things here and there. So I would have this kind of, bottle a little bit much more, interesting, and with the shadows and everything. Of course, there's still work to do because you will have to go there and make it a little bit nicer, all this stuff, put maybe much more darker. If this is the light coming from there, because we have the lighter parts here, yes. So you would have, of course, this part much more darker here, yeah. The kind of, form here, yeah. You will have even some kind of projection of some kind of shadow, yeah, over there. So we kind of go and make it, this kind of stuff, a little bit kind of, you see, push it a little bit here and there to get a little bit much more force. Or you can put it, of course, add a little bit kind of much more, and much more, a little bit, and some kind of, reflections here and there. Maybe you can transparently see something happening in the bottle and so on. So you can kind of go and have fun with it, with this kind of, you see, smudging and so on, yeah. So you have this bottle kind of really much more 3D dimensional, and you can also put some kind of background behind it, yeah. So you're gonna have kind of really even much more, interesting, for. So anyway, just recapitulate, anything you draw, you have to start. If I would like to draw this, object, yeah, I see it that way. If I wanted to have this in proportion, I have to measure the width and go with the length is going to be 1, 2. So I have, this is proportions 2 squares. Here is easy, you have 1 square, yeah. So this space is the same. Then this, like this one. So if you draw now a little bit in from perspective view, you see this kind of view, what you're going to do? Well, listen, is approximately the same thing. You start always with one side, either that one or that one, yes, or that one, and then you continue with the rest. Because if you take this length, and you know that this is square, so it's the same here, isn't it? And here, if you draw in perspective, you're going to have conversion lines, yes, one direction and another direction, yeah. But if you draw axonometrically, so this is going to be parallel and the base is going to be parallel. So now if you have angle of verticality, they're all going to be parallel, isn't it? Yes. And this is going to be parallel, this is going to be parallel, yes. So everything going to go parallel. Oh, sorry, I didn't look there. Parallelly the lines to the object, yes. So if you want to, of course, do this perfectly, you would have to measure this part, multiply with length. So in this case, if I would like to correct it, so the top going to be approximately like this. Yeah, I cannot look at the screen. I have to look at the paper. I'm forgetting that I'm not drawing digitally. Okay, so you have here approximately square. This is square. And here you have the thickness of this object as it is. Yes. I mean, as it was approximately from that kind of angle. Yes. So now I have a little bit some kind of shadows there, a little bit some kind of shadows over here. And let's say this is exposed to the light. Yeah. So I'm going to just avoid the confusion. I just kind of get out of this stuff there. Yeah. Okay. So if you draw axonometrically. So all these angles are parallel to each other. Yes. And also here, they're parallel to each other if you draw axonometrically. If you draw in perspective, it's going to be different because then you have, of course, convergences, and the same, you're going to have convergences from here and from there. Yeah. So you're going to have the object in perspective. So in order to conclude this short and this kind of video about the kind of, it's not very short, but anyway, I wanted to kind of explain this because a lot of students still have problems with the how to do these proportions and everything. So just remember, measuring is the key to the success of your form having closer to the original size. So I'm going to switch the camera now. I'm just going to show you approximately how to measure everything. Yes. So basically, look, the arm, when you measure, the arm needs to be always straight. You cannot measure that way. Yes. So I already said this once in other videos, but I'm going to repeat this again. So let me just switch off this light and be better visible maybe. Yeah, something like this. So arm needs to be straight and the stick needs to be perfectly vertical down. Yes. If you take the measurements horizontal, you have to have the stick also horizontal to your eyes. Horizontal, so you cannot measure that way or the other way unless the object is going this way. So now you align this, of course, accordingly to the angle of the object. Yes, but if not, you just horizontally always, you measure everything perfectly horizontally. Yes, the stick needs to be horizontal, and your thumb is sliding on the stick, indicating the measurements. So if it's there, so now the measurement is so large. If it's less, yeah, so now it's less. You see this space over there, yeah. So vertical is the same, yes. So you just go there, and I'm gonna maybe go this way. It's gonna be better visible on the doors. So if you have the arm really straight, you see my thumb vertically, yeah, vertically is sliding on the stick. It's hard to coordinate this, but anyway, it's something around those lines. So you have to go vertically with the thumb, and the best is going to kind of sliding it that way, not that way, because sometimes you might obstruct this view. You might not have the reading correctly. So just remember, the arm needs to be perfectly straight, and you just slide with the thumb, yeah, vertically. Or, of course, if you measure something horizontally, you slide it that way. Yes, horizontally over there. Yeah, slide it horizontally. So that would be all.